he talks about Muslims. That is normalizing it. He's normalizing it. And we're not going to take that. We're not going to wait until they come and save us. It is on our hands. And people everywhere need to stand up. And it is up to us, everyone here. People are beautiful today. You're in the right place. But it needs to go further. Our resistance has to turn into mass refusal. And we have to manifest this no everywhere. So if you're down with that, like I said, sign up, make a donation, take materials, and spread them everywhere. People need to know that we do not have to accept this regime. We don't have to live with it for 4 years. We're not going to wait until 2018. People's lives are on the line. Like I said, we do not want to go back to the days when women had to induce their own abortions. This is a reality. Women actually lived through those days. And this is what this pig is talking about when he's saying he's going to reverse Roe v. Wade. It is a reality. It is a danger for women to control their own bodies. And we have to do something right now. And this is what people have to do right now. Get involved. Sign up. Take up this no and get it out everywhere.
Already got it? Already got it. Thank you.
Is that okay though? And then I just take a picture?
con nombre y apellido, como una caída libre en un salto hacia el vacío, en un continuo desvarío, en un suave sentido, no me lleva hacia el delirio. Busco el error como forma de respuesta, un colapso seguro que perturbe mi cabeza.
She and I have a very close affinity because we have friends who were affected by this. Do we like that? Superwoman. Yay. I think it was water.
We're gonna take off.
Yeah, we are going to do it.
Three-way flyer.
Signaling to us. That girl had over there.
So, here. The ladies are going
How's it going?
What a rig.
Like Latin.
Yeah, it's kind of use it in different ways, but I get
Is that
tired of
wood?
No, it's just a helmet with
No, but the mount, it looks like
plastic.
wood. Plastic?
Yeah.
You did that with plastic. Very nice.
Thank you. Just kind of makes it easy to do live streaming for a long time.
Yeah.
I do it like this, then I put it on my head. Also, it's easy to hold it because you kind of can rest your elbows on your body.
So, external battery in there?
Yeah, in my pocket.
Oh, that's good. Well, good luck.
Thank you. You too. Thank you.
Keep the fight. Keep reporting. Indie media. That's what
What do you want to say today about why people are here and why it's important?
Oh, I say nothing. I'm just observing. I'm not a woman, but I'm here in solidarity with it.
But you're a
Everybody
feminist.
has one.
You are a feminist. You support women's rights, equal rights for women.
Scared my friend off.
What is it?
Yes, I do support women's rights. Absolutely. I'm not laughing about that.
Of course.
But it looks like the event is going to start. Just to wrap up, I really feel everybody could learn something from a woman.
That's
especially
right.
today.
That's correct.
So, have a good day.
Thank you.
So this is very sacred land. So know that when you walk here, you're walking on villages and burial grounds. Okay, they didn't remove all our people from their burial ground. They do that now on all our sacred sites, and we always fight to try to get our people preserved and saved and rebury them, because it's very disrespectful to take people out of their burial place, their resting place. And when we pass, we go into another journey, into another world. So we cross over. So remember that, and always respect the land, always respect Mother Earth. Don't throw trash, don't throw plastic. Our oceans are polluted terribly. Plastic straws on the ocean, don't use straws. It's all very dangerous, and it's a fossil fuel based product, and we need to get away from fossil fuel. If we learn anything from Standing Rock, it's to protect the water and to protect Mother Earth, sacred sites, respect the treaties. Thank you. We have Standing Rock in our own backyard, so we have our own battles here with fracking, with destroying the water, the dumping of trash into our water and toxic chemicals. And as you know, there's been a lot of bills to allow people to put their trash back into the water. So we have an even bigger battle, and that's where we depend on all of you here today, okay? I told you my word for welcome, hello. I want you to turn to the next person, if you don't know that person, and introduce yourself and say, hi, I'm so-and-so, I represent this, and we will know everybody, okay?
What's your name? Ursula. Nice to meet you, Jay. Who are you with?
Well, I do my own streaming, but I'm streaming on Marching Out in Los Angeles. Thank you for doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Now that is beautiful. That's the way we need to conduct ourselves as people, as human beings, okay? Not be afraid of each other, not be afraid to say hi, and not be afraid to say, put a smile on our face sometimes. I know I've traveled to other states, and you actually can smile in states and people don't get freaked out. Here in Los Angeles, we get kind of scared. What's wrong? What's going on? What is that person going to do to me? You know, but let's try to teach ourselves how to be friendly, especially when we come together in these types of gatherings, because we are here in unity, in solidarity, to back each other, to whatever we're trying to do, that we help each other, okay? We're strong like this, okay? And we need to remember that. So I'm going to say a small prayer. You know, I pray to my ancestors and to the spirits here. One more thing before I start that prayer. I want to tell you something about me. I'm going to give you my activism resume. I have been active in my community since I was 16. I am now 71. Okay? I started in high school because I had to go through race riots. I lived in El Monte. I still live in El Monte. And guess who got arrested? It wasn't always the other people. It was always the brown-skinned people. But from there, I worked in the anti-poverty programs. I became a Brown Beret. I was in the Chicano Moratorium. I always try to say when I get a little fiery that my Brown Beret comes out. I thought I put them to sleep, but no, it's still there. I also marched in Martin Luther King's dream to take the poor people of this country to Washington, D.C. on the Poor People's Campaign. He was assassinated 2 weeks before that journey started. So it was a very important journey. But I feel so blessed to have been part of that. And I met wonderful people. I never left the city where I live, so being out in diversity was, a whole new thing to me, and it opened up my eyes to other people and other cultures, to meet the people from the Appalachians, to meet Father Gropey, to meet Reyes Lopez Tijerina from New Mexico with the land grant movement, Jorge Gonzalez from the Crusade for Justice, and we did a lot of recruiting for the Brown Berets there. And from there, I was involved in the Chicano Moratorium, and the idea that people were killed kind of just destroyed me. So I couldn't handle it. I went very anti-gun, anti-violence, and didn't return back to the Chicano community for 45 years. And I went, during that time, had 2 sons. I'm a life giver. I became involved with my indigenous roots, the Tonga part of my life, and I was called to go back to the moratorium for a commemorative, and I kept telling them I'm a very different person, I'm very different. Well, we like that, we like that. And I said, no, I'm very different, So it took me a little while, but then what I realized was I was denying my own personal, her story, okay? And I said, that is my life. I'm proud of what I did, I'm not ashamed. And I needed to reclaim that, and I have done that. So thank you. And ever since then, I've been involved with sacred sites, desecration of burial sites and protecting them. I still work with both the Chica and Kuvungna, which is on the Cal State Long Beach University lands. We've had ceremonies out there, we have gatherings out there, they're open to the public. I invite you in October to come to our Ancestor Walk and Bear ceremony, which is a healing ceremony. And whenever I'm called now, I just try to come out and do things. 71, I'm slowing down, okay? But this doesn't stop. This doesn't stop. I still have most of this. So here I am. So I'm going to do a prayer for you. And I thank you for being here today, okay? You are a blessing, okay? Don't stop what you're doing. Encourage all your family to get involved. And we do this for our children and our grandchildren. I do it for my grandchildren and my children. We're going to do an offering. We use tobacco as a medicine. And what I'm going to be asking is for this to go to the 4 directions, calling in the spirits to be surrounding us at this time. Creator, grandmother, grandfather, thank you for this beautiful day today. The sun is beautiful, Creator. It feels so good on the skin. We're warm, and the flowers look beautiful already, Creator. We thank you for this. Creator, I want to offer my prayers to the 4 directions and the spirits of the 4 directions and the ancestors of the land. I want them to know that we're here to love them and not harm them in any way. We no longer will dig their burial grounds. So I'm offering tobacco to the north. Sorry, okay. I can't turn around. So to the north. Tobacco to the east. And this is the door where they have the spirits will come ask in this very good way for you to take this medicine for our spirits, that they will be here and surround us in a good way and guide us to do good things and to use our minds in a good way and our hearts in a good way, Creator. I ask this in a very humble way. I welcome all the ancestors here, Creator. I do not forget you, ancestors, and my prayers are for you, ancestors. I love you, and we will never forget you. Creator, I ask for blessings for all the people who are here today. Whatever their needs are, whatever their prayer is, that you honor it in the way that they pray. I'm very thankful for this, Creator. Creator, I also ask for protection and blessings for all the four-leggeds, the winged ones, the ones that call upon Mother Earth, and those that we do not see, and those in the water, the swimmers, Creator. Many of them are suffering. They're suffering because the developers are taking their lands away, their ancestral lands, and they come down from the high areas down to find food and comfort and water, and then they're being killed by the two-leggeds who say they're encroaching and eating the little domesticated animals. Creator, well, this is sad. Creator, we understand why this is done, and I ask for protection of those, our families of animals. Creator, I ask for blessings of the plant people, the rock people. We use we recognize in these nations they have a spirit, Creator, and we ask that they are protected also, because we have much pollution and it's killing our plants and our food sources, our natural resources. Our water is being destroyed, Creator. I ask for protection of our waters, and we get rid of the black snake, Creator. I pray for this. I pray for the people at Standing Rock, what they have gone through, but they have given so much to us and much teachings, and we need to use those teachings, Creator. Guide us so that we can use those things here in our homelands, Creator. I welcome for all the people that are here representing whatever organization you're from. I pray that I'm so thankful for them to be here and to come, give up time of their day to come out and do these things with us, Creator. I ask for blessings of the children. Our children are our future. They're so important to us, Creator. We want them to grow up healthy. We want them to be free, not be intimidated by people who would detain them in cages, Creator. And that these children are left suffering because their parents are being taken away, Creator. We ask in a good way that this not happen. We ask that this country we are in right now, we pray for those who are so evil and who have lost their way of being a human being. We pray for them and ask them to find their heart again and to look at things as they really are, instead of striking at people for immigration, for people who can't go take flights back home because they come from certain countries, Creator. We want this to stop. We are human beings. We are all human beings. We all bleed. We all breathe the same air in this entire world. And this day is so special because this is International Women's Day. And we breathe air with every person on this planet, every animal on this planet, every plant on this animal. The water that lets off its vapors, we breathe that also. And Creator, we want that to be pure and good and healthy, Creator. I ask for much. I understand, Creator, but I ask in a good way, very humble way, Creator. I ask you to listen to people's prayers and that they be safe, whatever they do throughout this day. Thank you.
Let's give thanks for the first people of this land. We could not start today without hearing the words of one of the women elders on whose ground we stand. My name is Margaret Prescott, and I'm part of the coordinating committee for the International Women's Strike for women around the world in 50 countries and too many languages to name. You are here. This is the Los Angeles event for the International Women's Strike, and I want to call up the women who will be co-chairing and facilitating with me. Nancy Berlin, all y'all, Ivy, Felicia, come on up. We, in so many ways, those of us who stand before you, representing what Los Angeles looks like. And we want to thank you for being here. I also want to give it up for the small team of organizers here in Southern California. We literally put this event together, I think, in what, 2 weeks? In 2 weeks we had to do this. And we said there cannot be an international strike with a platform and there not be an event in Los Angeles that represents the words and the wishes of people around the world. So I want to thank them for giving up all of their time. Alrighty, one of the things, you know that there are 50 countries, and just to give you some idea, the strike, the international strike was first called for by women in Latin America, women in Argentina, and then women in Poland. So I want to give it up for them. They did this way before the US election, way before the Women's March on Washington. They called for this strike and they mobilized it in 50 countries around the world. That is unprecedented. We also want to stand in solidarity and are so happy that the Women's March on Washington called a day without a woman also for March 8th and clearly said that they were in solidarity with the International Women's Strike, and many of you were at the event earlier between noon and 2 over at City Hall where they made the call for you to come on over here and join us and be part of this international effort. Now, some more women will be joining us, those who could not take the day off, and will be joining us as we go on. But I just want to say to you that something very special is going to happen at 6 o'clock p.m. around the world, wherever women are. We're going to be making noise. And they want the sound, and they want the video, and they want to hear those of us in Los Angeles. So y'all gonna be ready to stay with us and make some noise and spread it around the world? What I'm gonna do now, there is a platform, and that's one thing that is a little different from some of the events that have happened before. There's a platform. The other thing that will be happening is that everywhere we are in the world, in all 50 countries and in all participating cities, and there are over 50 participating cities in the United States, we're asked to read this statement. And it was written together with all of these women from Russia to Haiti to Honduras to Brazil to Argentina to Ireland. It's just amazing. Women did it. On this day, 8 March, we, the women, gather in the public space of our villages, towns, and cities in opposition against growing international misogyny, xenophobia, homophobia, transphobia, and racism and femicides in the International Women's Strike. For centuries now, and very strongly in recent months, we are raising our voices in unison to declare an emphatic no against these systemic wrongs and violences. Yet we have been meeting consistently with insults and humiliations from our governments and their supporters. Today, 8 March 2017, it is time to declare enough, no more. Though not all of us can strike today, not all of us can walk freely into our streets to protest. Though not all of us can even walk into our streets without being supervised by a man. Dear sisters, fear not. we remember you, and we raise our voices of protest also in your name. We are women from 50 countries united in the International Women's Strike and striking today across the globe. International Women's Strike is constituted not only of thousands of feminist organizations, but in great part by local grassroots movements, and above all, by you, individual women. Yes. International Women's Strike has been created for all women, and each woman makes up part of the strike. Today, bonded and united by the vital will to get what we deserve as human beings in our lives and for our daughters, sisters, and friends, we continue into the 21st century, the work our grandmothers set out upon in the 19th and 20th centuries in achieving, for some of us, voting rights, rights to study, the right to divorce, rights to perform in the professions we desire, or to drive a bike or a car. But in the 21st century, too many of us are still refused education or land rights because we are born girls. The work we do as mothers and carers is not recognized. Poverty and financial dependence affects us more because we are women. For some girls, human desire to live the way we want is taken away. Even dreams of performing sports they want are forbidden. Each of us across the planet-wide International Women's Strike Organization is presenting on this day our list of specific demands depending on our local realities. But each and every one of us agree on demanding human rights for women at every latitude and securing the freedom to decide about our lives and choices. Yes. That our oppressors must be persecuted and punished by law instead of victimizing us and being protected by corrupt legal systems. Yes. Separation of state institutions from the church, which is shamefully among our oppressors. Equal economic benefits, pay equity, and fair and appropriate legal conditions in our reproductive lives. Paid maternity time and a living wage. We, the women, will not tolerate restrictions imposed on us by those who are in power any longer. United as at no other time in human history, constituting more than half of the population on this planet and focused on the common good, we will fight without ceasing until our demands are realized. The ruling powers have not agreed to submit to our call for rights. So now they must fear our power because we are the power. We are invincible. We are everywhere, in every single corner and oasis of this planet. Because we have the best weapon, solidarity.
Good afternoon, everyone. Buenas tardes a todos y a toda la gente aquí. Muchas gracias por venir. Thank you for coming. We're going to go ahead and begin with reading the International Women's Strike U.S. platform. The International Women's Strike on March 8, 2017 is an international day of action, planned and organized by women in more than 30 different countries. In the spirit of solidarity and internationalism, in the United States, March 8th will be a day of action organized by and for women who have been marginalized and silenced by decades of neoliberalism directed towards working women, women of color, Native women, differently abled women, immigrant women, Muslim women, lesbian, queer, and trans women. March 8th will be the beginning of a new international feminist movement that organizes resistance not just against Trump and his misogynist policies, but also against the conditions that produce Trump. Namely, the decades-long economic inequality, racial and sexual violence, and imperial wars abroad. We celebrate the diversity of the many social groups that have come together for the International Women's Strike today around the world and in Los Angeles. We come from many political traditions, but are united around the following common principles. An end to gender violence. All women deserve a life free of violence, both domestic and institutional. Working women, trans women, and women of color face the worst aspects of direct institutionalized violence, be it in the form of police brutality, immigration raids, or day-to-day violence in the form of state policies that create and consolidate poverty in our communities. Against all such state and personal violence, we demand that our lives and labor be treated with dignity, for they form the basis of this society.
2, reproductive justice for all. We stand for full reproductive justice for all women, cis and trans. We want complete autonomy over our bodies and full reproductive freedom. We demand free abortion without conditions and affordable health care for all, irrespective of income, race, or citizenship status. The history of sterilization of women of color in this country goes hand in hand with the attack on abortion rights. Reproductive justice for us means the freedom to choose both whether to have children and when to have them.
3, labor rights. Labor rights are women's rights because women's paid labor in the workforce and unpaid labor at home is the basis of wealth in our society. All over the world, millions of women are forced to work for slave wages in dangerous sweatshops and other hell factories that kill thousands each year. In the United States, 46% of union members are women, and a majority of them are women of color. All women, irrespective of citizenship status, sexuality, or race, must have equal pay for equal work. $15 minimum wage, including for caregivers. Free universal child care, paid maternity leave, sick leave, paid leave, and the freedom to organize a fighting union in the workplace. As working women who hold up half the sky, we refuse to be divided over the kind of labor we perform, whether skilled or unskilled, formal or informal, sex work and domestic work.
4, full social provisioning. Yes. Decades of neoliberal policies have seen the violent dismantling of social provisioning that has affected all women. While our working lives have been made increasingly precarious, social services that might have provided a safety net against such harsh exploitation of labor have either been attacked or completely removed. Against these attacks, we demand an expansive restructuring of the American welfare system to serve the needs of the majority, such as universal health care, robust unemployment and social security benefits, and free education for all. We demand that the welfare system work to support our lives rather than shame us when we we access such rights. We demand environmental justice for all. We believe that both social inequality and environmental degradation are due to an economic system that puts profit before people. We demand instead that the Earth's natural resources be preserved and sustained to enrich our lives and those of our children. The struggle of water protectors against the Dakota Access Pipeline inspire us. The emancipation of women and the emancipation of the planet must go hand in hand.
6, for an anti-racist and anti-imperialist feminism. Against the open white supremacists in the current government and the far right and anti-Semites that have given confidence to, we stand for an uncompromising anti-racist and anti-colonial feminism. This means that movements such as Black Lives Matter, the struggle against police brutality and mass incarceration, the demand for open borders and immigration rights, and liberation for Palestine are for us the beating heart of this new feminist movement. We want to dismantle all walls, from prison walls to border walls, from Mexico to Palestine.
What do you think of the platform? You know, it takes the United Nations years, and sometimes they fight over where a comma should be placed. Women in 50 countries around the world got their heads together, and those of us in the United States, and we were able to produce this. What do you all think? You like it? One other piece of international news I have to share with you, and the indigenous group, the Miracle Dolls, are ready to perform for you. But before that, I want to share a message from our sisters in Turkey, in Syria, and in that entire region. They write to the feminists in the USA, "Dear comrades, we have watched with great excitement as your recent protests and demonstrations shook the entire United States and spread across the rest of the world. We felt a similar excitement when we heard your call for an international strike for the 8th of March. They go on, I won't read the entire statement, but they go on to talk about how they have suffered at the hands of U.S. invasion in Iraq. What's been going on in Turkey and in Yemen, the suffering in Gaza. And they say, since we know that this is on your agenda, and they're talking about the struggle against militarization, they're asking us to make the struggle against militarization as part of our own struggle. And they say, quote, since we know this is on your agenda as well, we would like to make you a suggestion. We propose that you include among your demands and resistance against Trump's government a call for a radical change in U.S. foreign policy, which currently causes grave grievances to peoples and especially women in different parts of the world. We ask that you stand up against the intervention of the United States in any other country through an open invasion or the sale of arms and ammunition or by supporting a government or its opponents. We ask this because enacting a change in this foreign policy that results in the many wars we mentioned above must necessarily be part of the feminist struggle for the 99% which you call for. Yes. believe that this also holds the potential to rejuvenate anti-war movements that have existed in the U.S. since the 1960s and have given hope to the peoples of countries invaded by the United States. Your voice has become ours. We therefore write to you with strong belief that our words may find place among yours. And the signatories are here.
How are you all doing out there? I can't hear you. How are you doing out there? Thank you all for coming out. My name is Ivy Kitcho, and I'm the national chairperson of Affirm. So we wanted to take a second for all the women identified in the audience to take out your phone if you have a cell phone and go to the website bit.ly/IWS calc, C-A-L-C. And I'll repeat it, but what this is us on the National Planning of the United States, we decided to create a strike calculator where women can input the hours that they went on strike so that after today we can collect data to show our real impact on the flow of capital in the United States and to show how we as women are able to shut this shit down. So again, the website is bit as in Tom, .L as in Larry, Y/IWS-CALC. And the Affirm table back there, you can go to the table, we can help you input your hours. So before we bring up our performer for today, we wanted to hear from you all. So we're gonna practice some chants, okay? Tell me what a feminist looks like. Tell me what a feminist looks like. Tell me what a feminist looks like. Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? All right, give it up for our performer, Miracle Doll.
Quick reminder for speakers to come up and do your check-in. We also want you to let you know that the knitters are in the house. They're knitting hats in several colors. If you brought your yarn, they will also teach you how to make a hat. So let's give it up for the knitters.
We are indigenous. Our tribes are from North Dakota, where the pipeline was built. In our community, it was one of the first that was hit with the pipeline, and the water became bad. So this is dedicated to all the water protectors, color of the rainbow, all of us. Here we go. Tom Petty, I won't back down. you guys. We're the Miracle Dolls. We are Dasa, Kiowa, Comanche, Lakota. We have many tribes in us. And I just, we went to Standing Rock and we seen all the water protectors. And we got to pray with everybody and perform. And it's just beautiful. When we went down there, it wasn't just Native Americans. It was also, you name it, every race you could think of. They're down there helping protect Mother Earth. And what it comes down to, we are spirits. We're not just this flesh. We gotta protect her. We gotta remember this. This is like the most important thing. She lives and she breathes. This is dedicated to all of us, all the water protectors, everybody that doesn't use plastic, whatever. This is called Water is Life. Dosha, 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 Dosha. Together we rise, with love in our eyes. Talk of changes, we can change us. We'll stay on the fence. Stay on the sweet not to burn, four corners to hurt. Light the fires, burn brighter. We'll stay on the fence. We'll stay on the fence. Just one earth. What is life? What is life? Just one earth. What is life? What is life? Gather and pride. Feel the strength in the air. Hear the answers in the winter. We'll stay on a fence. We'll stay on a fence. Just one earth. What is life? What is life? Just one earth. What is life? What is life? Ah, 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 Thank you guys. There's Oak Flat as well. Save Oak Flat. We just got done playing there about a weekend ago. And anything that anything you can participate in, like divest, pull out of the banks. We have the power. For reals, you guys. We have the power. It's not about the leaders. It really isn't anymore. It's about us caring about our future generations. For reals. So just thank you guys. We have a few more left for you. This is called Shift to Clay. Slower one for you guys. Thank you for having us. Thank you for the organizers of this event. And thank you guys for organizing, for creating a difference in this reality. We make the change. The leaders have to follow us. We have the money. We encourage you guys to divest so we can stop it and cut the head off that black snake. If you divest, you have the power in your hands. And you make the change. And we protect our generations and our future children and our grandchildren.
Could you check
it's up to us.
If the stream is working on watching now.
divest.
Give a big round of applause to Miracle Dolls. So important to our communities, check, so important to our communities is art and activism, or what we know as artivism. So thank you so much for offering that ofrenda or offering. Next up, we have an amazing speaker you have seen across the nation and across Los Angeles in many marches specifically for indigenous rights. We have from Idle No More and American Indian Movement, Southern California, please welcome Lilia Ponce.
Nana, Sister Nana, come on up here, sister, please. I can't do this without my sister here. I have love for all my sisters. I stand before you with nothing but love. And I'd like to hear you say, love for all my sisters. Love for all my sisters.
Love for all my sisters.
As a little girl, I remember my mother telling me, tú no te puedes estrenar eso. You can't wear that. You can't wear those pants.
Why not?
Here I am my mother's daughter. You have a freedom to wear what you want, a choice. Remember, I committed to loving you and lifting you and supporting you with that love, remember in the beginning? As an indigenous woman, a mom and a grandmother, my liberation is not dependent or connected to your pink pussy hat. It just isn't. It might make you uncomfortable, but I'm not here to disrespect your choice. I'm here to do nothing but share love with you. You do you. There's a war declared on indigenous women, indigenous people all around the world, and especially on this land because of the extractive industry that is America, all around the world. There was message of on our page to allow the pink hats to sell, to put those on the front lines. While it's fun to message our resident orange rump that we will not be grabbed by our genitalia, I appreciate your choice. But please refrain from thinking that that hat is going to do us any good when we're trying to protect the land, the water, and 7 generations to come. Again, I mean no disrespect, but I dedicate my prayers today for the missing and murdered indigenous women that are connected to those pipelines, that are never found to have closure for their families and their communities. And again, I have nothing but love for you for being here today. But I have to ask you, are you an ally or an accomplice as you stand here today? Because 750,000 people marched for the other parade I call, because they're not here. We should have these numbers doubled today. It's International Women's Day. So we stand together, peaceful, prayerful, and united. That hat is not going to save us. It serves its purpose. What's going to save us is true feminism. It only works when we lift all sisters. When we lift all sisters and not select few. The world should respect and honor you because you are a poem. You are a story. You are a prayer. Your ancestors did not survive theirs for you to fail. It's not an option. So I thank you for being here, for uniting and being prayerful and peaceful. And I thank you because I'm thanking you in advance because I know I'm going to see you at the next one. My choice to continue to wear pants or a pink hat or not depends on you being here today, and I thank you.
asistencia para traducir en español? Si necesitan asistencia para traducir en español, vengan a ver a Gloria, se les van a dar unos audífonos para que puedan escuchar la traducción, ¿ok? Gracias. Keep resisting.
We can't do any of our work if we destroy our planet. And so I'd like to introduce to you Sabina Virgo from the steering committee of SoCal 350 Climate Action.
Good afternoon, everybody. I have a quick question for you. Did anybody here have a glass of water today? If you did, raise your hand. Say yeah, I guess we all did. You probably all just turned on your faucet, poured the water in a glass and drank. But we all know that 3 years back in Flint, Michigan, the water was toxic. The women of Flint who bathed their children and gave them lead-filled water, they fought back, sued the EPA, and brought national attention to a poisoned community. Thousands of miles from Flint, in sub-Saharan Africa, faucets are not easily found. Women walk an average 4 miles to gather water, balance it on their head, and carry it home. This year, women will walk a mile farther to get the same water because the climate got hotter and water got scarcer, and they were women and responsible for bringing water to their families. Here in California, we had a drought, and you and I took shorter showers and lawns were watered less. In sub-Saharan Africa last year, women spent, think about this, 40 billion hours collecting water. And as climate change makes water scarcer, women work harder, girls have less time to go to school, and the cycle of poverty for women and girls continues. 70% of the world's poor are women. And when natural disasters strike, they hit poor communities first and worst. And a lot of those disasters aren't natural at all. They're caused by fossil fuel extraction, which causes greenhouse gases, which raises and changes the climate of Earth. Climate change is a women's issue. The land that women in the developing world depend on for survival is being laid to waste by climate change, brought on by a system that we do not control, a system that values profits over the planet, profits over people, and men over women. The United States has 5% of the world's population, but we produce 25% of the world's greenhouse gases. Fighting climate change is an act of anti-sexist, anti-racist solidarity. We are women, and ours is the struggle within the struggle, the war within the war. Most organizations in our country fighting climate change are not led by us. But the organizations fighting for environmental justice, for the protection of frontline communities, meaning families at the most risk, meaning families living next to refineries, like in Wilmington, or next to oil wells near USC or Baldwin Hills, or next to Exide in East LA, those organizations are led by women. I want to close with a story from a long time ago, from a country thousands of miles away. In 1906, in India, the government increased logging near peasant communities, and they were cutting down the forests. To stop their resistance, the politicians lied to the men, got them to leave the village, and when they did, loggers came to cut down the trees. But the women who weren't thought important enough to lie to were still there. And the health of the forest, which provided their food, was a survival matter for them. And so to stop the logging, these women put their arms around the trees and didn't let go. They started the Chipko movement, an environmental movement initiated by Indian women 111 years ago. And if you've ever wondered where the term tree hugger came from, it came from women in India. Women have a long and proud history of fighting for a just world and a just future. And as we join here today, pledging our resistance to injustice and inequality, it is on their shoulders that we stand. So my sisters and brothers, let us keep the tradition of the Chipko movement and fight for an end to cutting down our forests, an end to fossil fuel extraction and species extinction, and all the things that destabilize the climate and threaten our lives and our future. Let us, you and I, keep hugging the trees, the earth that gives us life, and each other. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sabina. An important issue of bringing together and connecting the dots of mind, body, and spirit and Mother Earth in our communities. Next up, we have an important speaker from the Executive Director of Black Women for Wellness. Coming up is Jan Robinson Flint. Please give her a round of applause. Próximamente es la directora de Mujeres de Color para la Salud, Jan Robinson Flint. Darle la bienvenida, por favor.
Greetings, you all look good. Give yourself a hand for being here, because there was another march with a hell of a lot more people. But that's okay, because we are here today. This truck is moving a little bit. Alrighty, so I stand here on the shoulders of Biddy Mason. Biddy Mason walked to Los Angeles. She was an enslaved African woman. She walked here and she freed herself. So I had some lessons that I need to share with you from Biddy Mason, from Shirley Chisholm, from Barbara Jordan, and from Ida B. Wells. You all know who those sisters are? Because Black women know we have been here before. And we need to move somewhere else, and we know how to do that. How many of you all heard of the Underground Railroad? Okay, so there's a new Underground Railroad. You don't need to say if you're a part of it, you just need to be a part of it, because people did not advertise when they were on the Underground Railroad. There are 4 reactions we can have to this stressor that we have in the situation. One is flight, and that's where the Underground Railroad comes in. And believe me, there are people moving about right now. Another situation is we can freeze, right? And it's easy to freeze because a lot of folks are getting tired, because it's something every damn day. Every day they come up with some new bull, right? So we have to defend the water, and they took apart the EPA, which wasn't doing a whole lot because they didn't have no teeth, but they took that apart anyway. So we have to stand with Planned Parenthood. Right? And we have to stand with Planned Parenthood because they provide reproductive health services. Right? And the community clinics cannot handle if they shut down and defund Planned Parenthood. We have to stand with, well, Lord, we don't have a Department of Justice anymore. So we have to create a new one. So it's a lot of people who are frozen. But then there are a lot of people who are fighting too. Right? So our organization, Black Women for Wellness, has resistance trainings. Because everybody who has to fight in a different way. You have to fight from your strength, right? Yeah! Okay, so some of us come to the rally. Some of us make phone calls. Some of us show up in people who's supposed to be representing us office. Some of us are on the radio making phone calls. Some of us are taking care of babies, because when you call for a women's strike, some folks got babies at home. Some folks have elders at home. Some people are taking care of folks in hospitals and nursing homes, etc. And that's our strength. That's how we fight. We lend that to us. Some folks cook, right? So fight how you know how. Fight what your strength is. But you have to give a little bit more than you've been given. You have to give a little bit more, because we won't do it doing the same old thing. So thank you for showing up today. Our organization, Black Women for Wellness, is in Leimert Park. Our website is bwwla.com. If you need to look us up, you can see what we are doing. We are having an International Women's Day program on Friday in Leimert Park. You are invited to come. And with that, I'm done. Thank you for listening.
Thank you to the Executive Director, Jan Robinson Flynn of Black Women for Wellness. Next up, we have some of the fiercest organizers in Los Angeles, and I dare to say across the nation and the world, fighting against police brutality, fighting against racism, fighting against misogyny and trans misogyny. The people and community led today and speaking today by Dr. Melina Abdullah and the people of Black Lives Matter. Black lives, they matter here.
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 That's right. Let's welcome again Black Lives Matter.
So it's so beautiful to be here. We were out a little bit earlier today, and I think that gathering is important. Gathering is important. It's important to dance. It's important to recognize who we are as women. It's important to say that we're committed to struggling for freedom, but it's more important to take that next step and say, what does freedom look like? So I want to say thank you for having a vision for freedom. Sister Margaret has been doing work for decades, and we are so thankful to you, Margaret Prescott, for your vision and for your work, and for the women of the International Women's Strike in the development of a platform that recognizes that our womanhood cannot be disconnected from our blackness. We are women and black all of the time. Our womanhood cannot be disconnected from our Muslim faith. We are women and Muslim at the same time. Our womanhood cannot be disconnected from queerness. It can't be disconnected from trans identity. It can't be disconnected from international immigration status. It can't be disconnected from anything from our working class identity. We are all of these things all of the time. And so there is no segmented freedom. We don't get free just because white middle class women get free. We get free when every interlocking system of oppression is toppled. All of them. All of them. Sexism, racism, homophobia, transphobia, capitalism. All of that shit gotta go now. That's how we get free. And so this vision that is presented as a platform is really a blueprint for how do we get free. What do we have to have in order to get free? So I'm thankful for that vision and for that platform and for this gathering, which is just a next step, right? And that there are steps to come. You can't just come out. We can't just come out at 12 noon or at 3 p.m. We can't just yell together at 6 p.m. Although all of that is important. All of that is important because it's a summoning of energy, yes? A summoning of energy. We are summoning the energy of our mothers and our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers. And we are struggling for freedom, but it's necessary to also put in the work. So the next step when we leave here is, what work are you willing to put in? What work are you willing to put in the name of Keisha Michael? Can we say her name? Keisha Michael, say her name.
Keisha Michael!
Say her name.
Keisha Michael!
We're standing just a block away from where Waukesha Wilson was killed in LAPD Metro Detention Center. We can't forget our sister, Waukesha Wilson, no matter what the so-called oversight body says. We say her name, Waukesha Wilson. Say her name.
Waukesha Wilson!
Say her name.
Waukesha Wilson!
We have to remember Sister Riddell Jones, who inspired the longest black encampment that we know of in history, in world history. For 54 days, we were walking past here and we were going, remember, doesn't this feel like home to you, right? Because for 54 days, we lived in front of City Hall in the name of Riddell Jones, whose 2 children are still reeling from her death. Can we say her name, Riddell Jones? Say her name.
Riddell Jones!
Say her name.
Riddell Jones!
Say her name.
Riddell Jones!
And for all of those women who are taken out by the state, whose names we will never know, we say their names. And we're also struggling and willing to do work in the names of our own bloodline. In the names of our own bloodline. Let's take a moment and say the names of the women in your bloodline. Say their names. I say the name of my grandma, Grandma Cox, Henrietta Cox. Say the name of someone in your own bloodline. Let's say their names. Loud, out loud, out loud, out loud. And we struggle forward in the names of the children who need us to continue to struggle and work in their names. We have my niece, my new niece, Rita Jane is here. She's 1 month old. I don't know if anybody can beat that. But can we say the name Rita Jane, that we struggle in her name, Rita Jane? Rita Jane, we struggling in your name. And so we're struggling forward. This is a gathering, but tomorrow we need you to do work. There's some specific things that we need you to do. Oh, here's Rita Jane. So there's work that we need you to put in. We need you to put in work. We need you to struggle in the name of Trisha Michael, not just by saying her name, but by showing up for her, because Inglewood police hasn't done anything for Trisha Michael. They haven't even given her family answers. So we call every Tuesday Turn Up Tuesday. On Tuesday, we show up in the morning at 9 a.m. at 100 West 1st Street. And we show up in the names of all of those who've been killed by the state. We have to remember that the state is telling us, this regime is telling us, it's time to move on from black people. We ain't moving on. We ain't moving on. We still have targets on our backs. Since Sunday, police have killed 2 more black people just the week ain't even over. In the last 4 days, they've killed 2 more black people. So we need you to show up. Yes, we need you to show up 9 o'clock in the morning at 100 West 1st Street. And then at 2 p.m., we need you to show up in Inglewood in the name of Keisha Michael, who left 3 children without their mother, and her partner, Marquittin Sandlin, left 4 daughters without their father. So we need you to show up 2 p.m. at Inglewood City Hall. We need you to do work. We need you to do work. We need you to show up and organize with Black Lives Matter, because until we get free, ain't nobody free. Ain't nobody free. I want to turn it over to Sister Brittany to talk about what freedom looks like. Sister Brittany. Black, millennial, student, self-employed, activist, mother, working poor. Those are a few words that describe me and who I am, and they all affect my womanhood in different ways. As a mother of a 5-year-old boy, I believe in and strive for a feminism that includes every person, not just white, cisgendered women that the hats represent. I strive for a feminism that represents Black women, poor women, Latinx women, Indigenous women, trans women, and any other type of woman that you are. I believe that one of the best ways to end this sexism that we all suffer from is to change the ideology, the ways that we think, the ways that we behave in our day-to-day lives. Be aware of the sexist language that you use. Be aware of the expectations that we place on one another based on gender. We need to place less pressure on women to be feminine, and we need to place less pressure on men to be masculine. To the men in the audience, you need to realize that your masculinity impacts the women around you in a negative way by creating a contrasting expectation of what femininity is. Women can be physically strong and emotionally strong, and are physically and emotionally strong. Men can be sensitive, men can be vulnerable, and are sensitive and vulnerable. To the men in the audience, you can cry, you can be emotionally open, because when you're not, you place all of the responsibility of that on women. This issue isn't just about one issue, our reproductive rights. That's one issue, but it affects every single part of our lives. And one of the parts of our lives that it affects that I'd like to talk about is domestic violence. Because our expectations of masculinity and femininity directly impact the way that we interact with one another. 85% of domestic violence victims are women in the United States. 1 in 3 women have been domestically abused, and with Black women being 35% more likely to be abused. And that's because, like I mentioned earlier, all of those little tidbits that I told you about myself, my Blackness impacts my womanhood in a different way than your whiteness impacts your womanhood. My poverty impacts my Blackness and my womanhood in a different way than your wealth impacts your womanhood. 72% of hate crime murder victims are trans women of color, mostly Black women. So I'd like to take a moment to say the names of a couple of trans women who were killed within the last 2 weeks in Louisiana. Sierra McElveen. Sierra McElveen, say her name.
Sierra McElveen.
Sierra McElveen, say her name.
Sierra McElveen.
And China Doll Dupree. China Doll Dupree, say her name.
China Doll Dupree.
China Doll Dupree, say her name.
China Doll Dupree.
So remember, when you talk about feminism, that if your feminism doesn't include the most marginalized people and all of the other issues that impact their lives, such as racism, capitalism, police brutality, underfunded neighborhoods and schools, then your feminism is incomplete and selfish. To stand with Black Lives Matter Los Angeles and what we're doing, there are 3 things that you can do as a call to action. You can use your voice, your body, and your resources. I'm a busy person, so I know that we don't all have time, but you can use your voice by amplifying our messages. You can follow us on Facebook at Black Lives Matter Los Angeles. You can follow us on Instagram at BLM Los Angeles. After you follow us on social media, you can show up for the actions that we post on our pages, also the actions that Melina mentioned earlier. And if you don't have the time to show up somewhere, if you can't use your body in that way, then you can use your resources. And you can donate to Black Lives Matter at crowdrise.com/BLMLA. Thank you for your time. I'm going to hand the mic over to Selena.
To close out, we want to invite you guys to participate in Asada. It's something that's reaffirming us in our struggle and our fight for liberation. We start at a whisper, and then we gradually progress So just listen up. You can repeat after me and Brittany. If you'd like to hold hands in solidarity. It is our duty to fight for freedom. It is our duty to win.
Say it a little louder.
We must
love and protect one another.
Protect one another.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
It is our duty to fight for freedom.
It is our duty to fight for freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love and protect one another.
We must love and protect one another.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
It is our duty to fight for freedom.
It is our duty to fight for freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love and protect one another.
We must love and protect one another.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
Ashe.
You all still with us? Are you all still with us? All right, we're gonna practice some chants. No borders, no nations, stop deportations. 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 Woo!
Thank you so much to the speakers before. We want to welcome one of the organizers for today, Cindy Ross Risden from the International Global Women's Strike. Let's give her a round of applause.
Hey everybody, it's lovely to see you. Woo! The Global Women's Strike, for those of you who don't know about it, is an international network of women's organizations who take action, including striking today, under the banner Invest in Caring, Not Killing. We demand the military budget to create a caring economy. Global Women's Strike LA and Women of Color in the Global Women's Strike were part of the fight for to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour here in Los Angeles. And we're also part of an international campaign for a living wage for all workers, including mothers and other caregivers. Woo! Give it up for the moms. Being a mother or caring for somebody who's ill or infirm or elderly is really hard work. We're workers, without whom our families and also the nation's economies could not survive. I'm a mom and a grandma, and I'm here today in part because of my daughter. She's a single mom with a 6-year-old daughter who's just lovely. And she's also going to school, and she's waitressing, and she's exhausted by the struggle of trying to make ends meet. And she needs a living wage for all the different kinds of work she's doing, and we all do. So a living wage for all our work, for all the people who are working.
Women and other caregivers are not valued or paid when we do the work at home. And when we do the same work in the waged workplace, we're not paid very much and our skills are undervalued. I was a nurse in the hospital for over 4 decades, and nurses, like many women in women's jobs, are overworked and underpaid, even more so than our male counterparts. And as a nurse, I saw daily what poverty and racism do to people's health, how it undermines and just destroys people, and how the medical industry is putting less and less emphasis or less and less priority on caring for people and meeting their needs, and more on how to make the industry function. So you spend an awful lot of time charting in charts and not the time that you need really taking care of people and meeting what they need in order to get better. And it's very frustrating, and it causes a lot of burnout. A lot of nurses leave nursing. One of the reasons that I'm proud to be here today is that the Global Women's Strike is supporting and asking for your support for something called the Rise Out of Poverty Act. It's being reintroduced by Congresswoman Gwen Moore, and it undoes many of the most harmful aspects of welfare reform. It in fact makes ending child poverty the goal of welfare. Massive resistance to Trump and Ryan. So we wanted to ask for your support for this movement and help get the Rise Out of Poverty Act passed. There's a table over there with literature and action items, and there's a petition for the Rise Out of Poverty Act. And I urge you to sign it and be part of that movement and help get this bill through, because I think it will make a tremendous difference not only to welfare mothers, but to all of us in the waged workforce, because studies have shown that when welfare payments are lowered, the minimum wage goes down. And the more we support mothers and caregivers, the more wages will go up. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have a representative from Vets for Peace. Próximamente tenemos un representante de los veteranos para la paz, Kathleen Hernandez. Please welcome Kathleen Hernandez from Vets for Peace.
Buenas tardes. Paz a todos. I am a member of Veterans for Peace, but I need to have full disclosure that I am not a veteran. I am what's called an associate member, but I'm up here today to talk about Veterans for Peace. I joined Veterans for Peace about 15 years ago. I have a lot of family that was in the military. I had a boyfriend whose son died in Iraq, and I got involved with, I don't know how many of you have seen Arlington West, Santa Monica, down on the beach where the crosses are and the stars and the moons. So anyway, we're down there. We've been down there for 14 years. Every Sunday we start at 3 a.m. in the morning and we construct a memorial to the human cost of war. And you know, the other day I Googled the effects of war on women. I got 150 million hits. 150 million. Our U.S. foreign policy is misogynistic, racist, and wrong. We need to end the war culture we live in. It goes on and on and on, and one can make as many excuses for the good war, the bad war. They're all wrong. What is war good for? Profit for the few. That's about all it's good for. It creates poverty. It destroys the environment. It disables people for the rest of their lifetimes, whether they're a survivor or, you know, they've been in the war, or whether they've survived it. The other day I just heard that even though he's not a woman, but he's a man who was in Guantanamo. He got released. He freaking just died the other day in Yemen. Go figure. It's sick. We've got to stop this. Our headquarters of Veterans for Peace is in St. Louis, Missouri, about 4 blocks from Ferguson, and where that went down. So we decided that we needed to get involved in that. We've been to Standing Rock. We create water projects in Iraq. Women veterans are highly affected. 1 in 3 are abused within the military, which is a higher rate than even in civilian society. What can you do to help us? How can we help you? We want to know. We want to go out into schools. We have been going out into schools because this funding of militarism is in our schools, it's in our cities. When we go out, we see the tanks that are rolling in our cities now. And that's like 56% of our tax money that's going to war. This needs to stop, and the only way it's going to stop is, as a sister said earlier, divest. Divest from it all. Divest from that military culture. The men need to stand up too, don't they? They need to speak up and speak out and not freaking wait for us to ask them. You know, just do it. So, I'm here based in Los Angeles. We have a Facebook page that's Veterans for Peace Los Angeles. You can. How many people are veterans that are here today? So check us out. Check out veteransforpeace.org. We have a convention coming up in Chicago. We have workshops that we do. It's an amazing group of people. We're affiliated with Iraq Veterans Against the War. We're here with Alternatives to Militarism. We will come out to your schools, but you don't need a vet to do that. You can go into your schools yourself and talk about the war culture, and let's talk about the alternatives. If you Google search Great Futures Los Angeles, you'll find a resource book that some teachers put together. So, I mean, I could go on and on and on about all of it, but we've been here. I want to really fully support Global Women's Strike, who I've been part of that coalition, because they say it like it is. We need to have caring, not killing. Thank you all for coming out today. Keep going. Don't stop.
Thank you to Kathleen Hernandez from Veterans for Peace. Next up, we have Gina Belafonte from Sankofa.org and Women's March LA. Let's give her a round of applause.
Hey, hey. Tell me what democracy looks like. Awesome. So, it's been a long year already. We had a great rally earlier today, which was what I called the opening act for this evening. It's great to see so many of you here. I'm honored to share the stage and represent a legacy organization called Sankofa.org that was founded by my father, Harry Belafonte, who has a long history of activism, social justice, and standing up for what's right and creating platforms for young people and artists to speak their truth. I'm also here as a representative from the Women's March Los Angeles, and we were able, with your help, to turn out 750,000 people here in downtown Los Angeles for the Women's March. We were inspired by East Coast women other women from other areas of the country that wanted to create a women's march. And I just wanted to report, this has just come in, that 2 of the women from the national DC march have been arrested in New York City, protesting in front of Trump Towers. Tamika Mallory and Carmen Perez are looking for jail support at Precinct 7 in New York City. So, yes. So I just want you to know that women are on the front lines of this movement, and people are hurting, yo. A lot of people are hurting. A lot of people are hurting and don't know what to do with their pain. And we have to make space for people to express their pain. Linda Sarsour also had now, Linda also has been arrested. So it's all 3 of the women from Justice League that were part of the national co-chairs of the Women's March have been arrested in New York. So I just wanted to let you know that. So we're here today in solidarity. We need to shine a light on so many issues in our communities. We need to find ways in which to come together and uplift each other and not shame each other and not diminish each other. We all have different ways in which we approach this work. We have all different ways in which we organize. We're not all the same. But I will say, in light of that, the most marginalized community are Black trans women. And we need to look to leadership from the Black trans women community in order for us to understand how we can lead and move forward. No matter what organization you're with, please do your research and understand and know. So let me tell you a few facts. For instance, the Women's March. There is no one central body. There are many women's marches across the country and the world, and we are all volunteers. There is no one pocketbook. So in your community, it would be great if you could support what is going on with that community. For Black Lives Matter, there are Black Lives Matter locals and community leaders from Black Lives Matter all over the country. There is no one central body. So I guess what I'm trying to suggest to you is that we all need to do a lot of homework. We all need to take the time to really listen and to hear the pain that is coming from our sisters around the world. We need to do our best to uplift those sisters, what they're trying to communicate, and love and support and protect one another. Assata Shakur was no joke, and what she has to tell us is no joke. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love, support, and protect one another, and we have nothing to lose but our chains. That's real. That's real talk. Someone once said to me, if you have a really good idea, there's probably about 10 other people in the world that may have that same good idea. So we have to get rid of this colonization of ownership. We need to be able to share space, share slogan, share thought, mind, heart, body, and not put each other down. So that is what I want to bring to you today. I echo so much of what's been said. All the major talking points, all the legislation we need to fight for, all of the people we need to uplift. But that's just my own personal message. I come here with love, peace, and gratitude. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I just want to let you know we have Dolores Huerta. She's on her way. She'll be here in about 15 or 20 minutes, so hang in there. We also have Jackie Goldberg. A lot of you know Jackie. He'll be speaking in just a minute. All right.
All right, so again, we encourage everyone to take their cell phones out, all the women identified in the crowd. Go to this website and log in your strike hours. Again, this is a tool that we're going to be using to be able to measure the effectiveness of this strike and also to be able to collect data so that we can continue the organizing work after this and use it to defeat Trump and all the fascists around the world, right? 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 All right, so in honor of Linda Sarsour and our sister Carmen, who have just been arrested, I want you to do this chant extremely loud, okay? When women and children are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When women and children are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When women and children are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When women and children are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When women and children are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
Woo!
Thank you, Ivy. The next speaker did exactly that. Stand up and fight back. Dr. Ishtime Robinson is an activist, a mother who lost 2 children to state-sanctioned terrorism. She is the founder of Every Case Matters. Please raise your hands, your hearts, together to welcome Dr. Ishtime Robinson.
How you doing out there? How you doing out there? Oh, you can do better than that. I want every... All right. Woo! It is a miracle that we are here today on this specific occasion, which is an historical landmark in our year of living and life. I want every mother who is here to raise her hand. Every mother. Every mother. Now I want the crowd around every mother. If you're near a mother, hug a mother. I want the crowd to say, we love you. We love you. We love you. You are awesome. My name is Ishtime Robinson, and I am here by invitation of Margaret and this phenomenal body. I would like to just say that I am so grateful to be able to stand in front of you today. I am the mother of 2 children who were sacrificed to state-sanctioned terrorism, legalized state-sanctioned terrorism. I am not here to tell you my story to gain pity from you. I am here to tell you a bit of my story to gain support from you. I represent a body of mothers across the country who have lost their children to the same pathology, which is linked to white supremacy, fascism, racism, homophobia, and every other ism we are fighting here today. We are not victims. We are victorious. I will say that again. We are not victims. We are victorious. One more time. We are not victims. We are victorious. Yes, yes, yes. I want every person here who has lost a female to legalize state-sanctioned terrorism to say her name right now. Aja Dixon, say her name. Aja Dixon. Every other female that you know that was lost to state-sanctioned terrorism, shout her name now. Shout her name now. Shout it now. I'm saying that to say that so often we hear about the men who have been sacrificed. And as my friend said earlier, Dr. Melina Abdullah, we rarely hear the names of women. I am here to ask you to stand in solidarity with the foundation I have founded, which is Every Case Matters. You can go to the website. If you have a cell phone, will you pull it up on your cell phone right now? Every Case Matters Facebook page. We have a petition, which we have so far garnered over 100,000 signatures, charging the United States with legalized state-sanctioned genocide. 100,000 and climbing. Our goal is to get 1 million signatures. We are not here to simply scream and shout and hoop and holler. We are here to work to change the narrative. We are not victims, as I said again, we are victorious. A woman brought me here today. Her name is Aja Dixon, my daughter, who was sacrificed in 2010, 68 miles from where Sandra Bland was sacrificed to legalize state-sanctioned terrorism. My head is not buried in the sand, and guess what? Aja is not dead. Her spirit is here today. Her spirit is here today. What we have done is what no other group has done so far, and that is to link all cases to one pathology: genocide. Bottom line, genocide. It's not just about my child or your child, but all of our children. And is not why we are here today. Are we not here to celebrate the legacy of our children and to create a future that will ensure their safety, their productivity, and their success? Is that one of the reasons we are here today? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. This can never be about us, but our children, the future, the next generation, our daughters, our sisters, our nieces, who are linked to our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers, our mothers, our aunts, and all of the women that have stood as models of success and valor before us. And so what I want us to do right now is a little exercise. I want you to just look at the woman next to you and just say to her, "You are a miracle. A phenomenal miracle. And I am so privileged to meet you today. I love you, regardless of whether or not I know you. Simply because you are. That's it." So as I close, how do we win this fight? How do we win this war? How do we win? How do we change this narrative? It comes from one word: L-O-V-E. L-O-V-E. I'm gonna say it again. We gotta learn to love one another. This fight is won through the development of a strong internal infrastructure. Yes, we fight police terrorism. Yes, we fight all the factions that are waging war against us. But the bottom line is, the only way to truly change this is to begin to support and love and connect with one another. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. And so I leave you with this. We are winners. We are victorious. We are one.
Thank you. That's amazing. We stand with the mothers of movement everywhere across this nation. I just want to give you a heads up as to where we are with the program, because we've got a few special things that we're going to have to do. The Dene grandmothers have traveled all the way here from Black Mesa, Arizona. And what they want to do, and is important for them to do, is to do a ceremony, which is a brief ceremony at sunset. We're going to start that in about 20 minutes, okay? The other charge we have from our sisters across the globe is that we stay together, and at 6 o'clock, we're going to make as much noise as we can, because everywhere in 50 countries around the world at 6 p.m., they're going to be doing the same thing. So we're going to be recording your sound. We're going to be videotaping it. So that's what's coming up, okay? Right, then we're gonna have some, music, a little celebratory stuff happening. Dolores Huerta. I understand she's just about 5 minutes away, and we hope she'll be able to join us before the sunset ceremony. Before that, I just want to do something very quickly that those of you who are, some of y'all know that I host Sojourner Truth on Pacifica Radio's KPFK, right? Is that right? Y'all know that? Margaret Prescott, all righty. Support public radio. KPFK, in the house, KPFK, Pacifica Radio. What I'm going to do now, though, is there are going to be some folks moving around in the crowd, and they're going to have two things. They're going to have a mailing list so that we can stay in touch with y'all, because you heard, if you want to, you heard Melina Abdullah from Black Lives Matter. We got work to do together. Our planet needs us. We need each other. So they'll be moving around in the crowd, so be sure to sign up for that. The other thing that we're going to do, all of us are volunteers. We have no budget, okay? We're putting this together. You know, folks are like whipping out their credit cards to pay for this and pay for that, hoping that we'll be able to get reimbursed. So I'm going to ask you, some people are going to move around with some buckets. Please donate and contribute what you can. We're not taking 1 penny for ourselves. We're not even sending money with the grandmothers to Black Mesa, which frankly we would like to do. And if we collect enough after our expenses, that is exactly what we'll do. You know, there are parts of the United States where people have to travel 20 miles just to get clean water, and that's some of what's going on in their territory. Alrighty? So people are going to be moving around. So that is my brief money pitch. A lot briefer than what I do on KPFK, ain't it? All right. So hope y'all appreciate that. But please dig deep. If you want to write a check is possible, and they should make it out to our fiscal sponsor for today. You can make it out to Los Angeles Wages for Housework. But if only we were getting wages for housework, right? But make it out to Los Angeles Wages for Housework, and you can write a check to help us out today. Kwasi and other people are going to be moving around. So the next thing that I'm going to do, patiently waiting in the wings, is a woman that is really a hero of mine. You hear her on Sojourner Truth, and you know, it's so important that the people who have made the way for us, the person that I'm going to introduce next, Jackie Goldberg, she got her training in the early civil rights movement. Jackie tells me stories of when Echo Park, Black people couldn't live in Echo Park. The early anti-war movement, she was part of the free speech movement in Berkeley, California. She came back to Los Angeles, and she served on the Los Angeles School Board. She was president of the school board, and then she became the first lesbian member of the Los Angeles City Council. Now that took a lot of guts back in the day. That's Jackie Goldberg. That's who she is. That's the passion that she has. She then went on and served in the California Assembly. You know, we need our friends inside the halls of power, because Jackie never forgot where she came from. She never forgot who she is. She never forgot her training in civil rights and the anti-war movement. She's been an educator all of her life. We're so proud to lift up Jackie, to honor her today. Let's give a warm Southern California International Women's Strike welcome for Jackie Goldberg.
I think I should take her with me everywhere, don't you? I mean, I'd like to meet that person. Well, it's such a thrill to be here. You know, this isn't the first March 8th demonstration in Los Angeles. In the 1970s, we had them every year. And we would go down Broadway, and we'd go down Hill, and we'd go down all of the major streets, and we'd stop at each institution that discriminated against women, which meant it was a very slow and very long march, because every bank discriminated against women. I know some of you are too young to remember, but if you got a divorce, you couldn't get credit if you were the woman in the couple. If you were the man in the couple, you got immediate. credit, not women. You're too young probably to remember when those of us had to deal with the fact that abortion was illegal. I'm not talking about hard to get. I'm not talking about with all the idiot amendments that people around the country have been trying to do to make it hard to get. I'm talking about illegal. So that my high school friend nearly died from a backroom abortion. These are things we need to hold on to and remember, not because we want to live in the past, but because we refuse to go back to the past. When number 45, because I refuse to use his name, when number 45 says he wants to make America great again, what he means is he wants to make America white again. What he means is he wants to make it so that people who work for a living cannot join and stay in unions and bargain collectively against the giant capitalists of this country. He wants to go back when women were barefoot and pregnant, and he likes that. He wants to go back and take us back with him to when people in my community of Echo Park who were not white were not welcome there. But we have a big, huge message for them all. We will not go back. You know, the International Women for Peace was first called the International Working Women's Day. Working Women's Day. Because women always work. There are no women out of work. They may be not in paid employment, but we're all working. That was in 1909. But really, these struggles go way back. 411 before the Common Era. 411 before the birth of Christ. 411. That's a long time ago. Lysistrata was written. And what was it about? It was about women saying to the Spartans and the Athenians, enough war. You continue fighting the Peloponnesian War. You go right ahead, but there'll be no sex with us. That was a women's strike. That was a women's strike. Abigail Adams, when her husband John became president, wrote him a letter. And in it she said, we need to have care and attention paid to women, because if not, the ladies, let me find the rest of the quote, quick, are determined to foment a rebellion and will not hold ourselves bound by any laws in which we have no voice or representation. I think that's a principle we can live by today, don't you? If we're not in the mix of making the decisions, don't expect us to follow your laws. Here in Los Angeles, we have struggled mightily to create good jobs with such organizations as Unite HERE, which have a long history connected to this day. Because in 1912, in Lawrence, Massachusetts, you had a 14-week strike when the people who owned the textile mills took 32 cents out of the paychecks of all the workers. Before that, the year before, in 1911, the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire. That was a fire in which the owners of the place where women worked in tight spaces on their sewing machines, most of them immigrant teenagers who spoke very little, if any, English, and worked 12 hours a day for very low wages. They locked them in, and when fire broke out, 146 women died that day. They died because the bosses were worried that someone might steal a garment, and so they locked the doors, and they died. And as we go through these things, we remember them again, not to go back to the past, but to remember on whose shoulders all of us stand. We stand on the women, black, brown, Asian, white, foreign-born, American-born, born anywhere in the world, who live here and who say that women's rights are human rights, and human rights are women's rights. You know, somebody once asked me to tell them why I was a feminist. And I said, well, I'm a lot of things. I'm a socialist, I'm a feminist, I'm a lot of things. Why am I all of those things? I am those things because feminism has a very simple idea. Feminism is the outrageous notion, absolutely outrageous notion, that women are equal to men. That's it. You got it all. One sentence. And you know it's the one thing that number 45 simply can't get his arms around at all. He simply doesn't get it. All right, so then we have to talk about what are our issues today. Well, of course, one of them is equal pay for equal work. Now, I want to tell you, it's pretty upsetting. Because when we had at the Los Angeles Women's Liberation Union, when we had the first International Women's Day March on March 8th, in that year, in 1971, women were making 69 cents on the average compared to $1 for men. So fast forward 71, 81, 91, 2001, 2011, 40 some years, right? It's 79 cents today. 40 years we've gained 20 cents. At that rate, your children, your grandchildren won't see equal pay for equal work. And if you think that's bad, it's much worse if you're an African American woman. If you're an African American woman, let me get this right, I don't make up facts, that's another thing that's different from us and some people we know.
The fake news.
I can't believe it. I can't find the paper. It's about 65 cents. I can't find it. I'll see if I can find it. About 65 cents. And for Latinas, it's 54 cents on the dollar. So it's not just bad, it's dreadful. And it's dreadful the older you get. And on the average, because we say, well, okay, a lot more women are going to college, that must make things better. On the average, a typical woman with a master's degree earns less than a man with a bachelor's degree. That's not years ago, that's right now. So what do we do about it? Well, of course, the most important thing we do, we're starting with here. We get out in the streets, and we stay out in the streets until they get the understanding that we will not go back. I need you to say that with me. We will not go back. In fact, what we will do is push forward. Now let's talk about what damage 45 has already done. And here's the thing that I must say disturbs me greatly, because I'm going to bet that even though you read the papers and you listen to the news and you're on social media, maybe his first official act got so little coverage, most of us have never heard it. And here's what his first act was. On Monday, the 23rd of January, number 45 said that he was going to re-invoke the global gag rule. How many of you have heard that? Oh, you are a smart group. I apologize completely and utterly. But you say that to most of the people you know, they not only didn't hear about it, but if they heard about it, they didn't know what it was. So what is the global gag rule? The global gag rule is what men old and decrepit and angry and frustrated and inept and stupid and tiny, have tiny hearts and tiny minds, sit around thinking up to do. And here's what they came up with. You want to hear something that is so mean-spirited, you can hardly believe it. I mean, I can hardly believe it. It says, to agencies elsewhere in the world who receive American foreign aid for health care, that if you, first of all, you can't use any of that money for anything having to do with reproductive rights, not a dime of it. But the gag rule says if you use any of your own money, to help with AIDS, to help with vaccinations, to help with reproduction, and that includes even telling someone where they can get counseling about abortions, we will cut off 100% of the aid to help with health care in your country. Can you, what kind of a human being could even make up a rule like that? What kind of a human being could do that? And it's bad enough that the gag rule cost under Bush was about $500 million lost to those groups. But oh no, 45's not going to be outdone. Oh no, he goes that 16 times greater. So that now we're talking about the loss of $1.4 billion to countries around the world whose women, number 2 cause of death is in giving birth, and who have children and cannot afford more children. We were cutting off aid to help with AIDS, aid to vaccination. However, in addition to which, in their new so-called health bill, they are going to take out $1,400,000 that used to